like, where are the positions and which are the positions in the national leadership of FDC specific work? Like, tell us.
Reduction of corruption in Uganda, I think that first we need to start with children like you. I think studies on corruption should be part of the school curriculum so that children know that you do this, it is wrong. It's not acceptable. Condemn with blame and shame. So I think we have a new generation that...
This is the news on one.
Locals intercept truck carrying charcoal destroyed over 90 bags. 34,000 applicants scramble for 200 government jobs. Kenyan cult targeted children to die fast, according to a pastor. Hello, good afternoon. Welcome for the latest news on 104.1 Fever FM. My name is Eric Toraj. Locals in Unyama Trading Center in Gulu City have destroyed at least 90 bags of charcoal from a truck they intercepted today morning. The vehicle registration number UBJ 539R, which was carrying 250 bags of charcoal, was intercepted at around 5 a.m. with locals offloading bags of charcoal, with others carrying some of the bags of charcoal to their homes. By press time, police had secured the truck and the dealers who were left to collect scattered charcoal from the road for repackaging. John Paul Ukumu, a resident of Unyama Trading Center, says the community members were only enforcing the recent ban on commercial charcoal business in Acholi sub-region by Beatrice Anywa, the State Minister for Water and Environment, in February this year. Ukumu says unless the community members take up the role of enforcing the ban, the legal business will continue and eventually leave a huge impact on the region's environment. Emmanuel Mwaha, one of the owners of the destroyed bags of charcoal, says when they reach Unyama Trading Center, the community members stop the truck and pierce one of its tires, causing a flat tire before they started offloading the charcoals. He says over 90 bags of charcoal were destroyed by the church locals. According to Mwaha, he and his business partner Christopher Munene invested at least 8 million shillings in buying charcoal from the community members in Angagura sub-county in Padet district, adding that the church locals in Unyama Trading Center did not believe they bought the charcoal from the community members, saying they cut trees and burn the charcoal, which is illegal. Simon Wahorach, the Achua County Member of Parliament, says the stand taken by the community members shows the level of awareness, especially on activities which endanger the environment. Wahorach also rallied the community members to always be vigilant to intercept the trucks, but not offload and destroy, but to inform the authorities so that it is legally dealt with. In February this year, the government issued a ban on commercial charcoal business in Acholi sub-region. Medical students from Gulu University have joined the medical interns and other colleagues in the health sector in demanding their deployment to various medical facilities. During a press conference held at Ochwe Memorial Hostel in Gulu City today morning, the students decreed the delay in deployment and lack of payment of medical interns. Nelson Tokome, a medical intern, says that for close to 10 months, doctors in health facilities have been left to struggle with huge workloads because medical interns are striking due to lack of payment and no deployment by the Ministry of Health. Currently, medical interns constitute up to 70% of human resources in health facilities in the country. Alfred Anyama, a pre-intern, says that there is need for government to regulate the enrollment of students joining medical schools in order to manage the deployment of interns. Anyama noted that currently the most affected persons due to the ongoing strike is the peasant members of the community who can't afford to get quality medical services from the private institutions or even outside the country. According to Anyama, with the current state of the health sector, parents are feeling the most painful pinch, having invested money to pay for their children to attend university. Two in-laws of the late Minister Charles Okello Engola Majudugo yesterday perished in an accident at Ayago in Mashishon Falls Park, Noya District, while returning from the burial ceremony. The in-laws and other mourners were returning from the burial of the late minister who was killed by his bodyguard on the 2nd of May. Minister Engola was buried at his ancestral home at Awangi Village, Icheme Sub-County in Uyam District on Saturday. Several mourners have traveled to Arua to from Arua to Oyam for the burial. Late Minister Engola was married to Miss Joyce Engola, who hails from Ulugo Ward in Arua City. The couple were preparing to wed by the end of this year. The deceased have been identified as Dina Tiperu Afayewa and a boy who is commonly known as Diyia. They were residents of Ayibiri Cell in Ulugo Ward, Aivu East Division, Arua City. The MP Aivu East Division, Mr. Geoffrey Feta, confirms this and says their bodies were transported to Anaga Hospital mortuary for post-mortem. In the National News Bulletin, a total of 34,820 jobs applicants were for the next 10 days starting today to sit for aptitude test in a scramble to fill 218 jobs advertised by the government. The chairperson of the Public Service Commission, Ms. Winnie Agnes Akaboza Musoke, says there will be 9 shifts sitting every day with the last day having 6 shifts. Mr. Kabogoza says a total of 34,820 applications were received, out of which 21,800 candidates have been shortlisted for the 218 vacancies. She was speaking to journalists on Friday ahead of today's aptitude test that will run up to May 25th at Makerere University College of Computing and Information Sciences. Going forward, Mr. Kabogoza says at the end of each aptitude sessions, each candidate will be able to know what they have scored, a move she says is an improvement from the past manual conducted aptitude to avoid corruption. Ms. Kabogoza says the overwhelming number of applicants this time around makes them vulnerable of fraudsters. She adds that for the very first time in their recruitment history, they have hit 10,000 mark-off number of applicants interested in the available government slots, on an indication of high unemployment rates among the university graduates. You're listening to the news on 104.1 Fever FM with me, Eric Toraj. In Africa News Bulletin, children were targeted as the first to starve to death in the final days of a Christian doomsday cult in Kenya, according to a fresh accounts emerging. Police investigating an apparent mass suicide have so far exhumed 201 bodies in a forest in the nation's southeast. A former deputy preacher of the cult told the New York Times that children were killed first, ordered to fast in the sun so they would die fast. Women and men were next to follow the suicide plan, Titus Katana says. Mr. Katana, who is helping police with the investigation, also described to the Sunday Times the alleged brutal treatment of the children, saying they were shot in huts for 5 days without food or water. Elsewhere around the world, in the run-up to the election, Turkey's President Erdogan still had widespread support, but his domestic problems had been piling up, and he was up against his strongest contender since first led Turkey 20 years ago. Increasing numbers of Turks blame him for inflation's currently at 44%, and for his government's slow response to the twin earthquake last February. He still has the charisma, but his main rival, Kemal Kılıçdaroğlu, is promising to unify a polarized country. Erdogan has steadily increased his powers from being prime minister in 2003 to elected president in 2014. And in sports,
This is the Sports News on 104.1.
Olila High School has become the standard in girls school cricket after winning their 3rd title in a row. The 3rd might be the most memorable for them since the feat of achieved at home against a local rival Light SS. Olila High School won the title without dropping a game during the one-week tournament held in Soroti City for the first time. The tournament, that was held away from Kampala for the first time, had 13 schools camping at St. Mary's Mandera for a week, with some newcomers making a mark at the event. Gulo High School picked up 2 wins on their first time, while St. Mary's Mandera also impressed on their first time. Our scripture of the moment is taken from the book of Luke chapter 16 verse 10, which says, "One who is faithful in a very little is also faithful in much, and one who is dishonest in a very little is also dishonest in much." That's it for now. Thanks for listening. Stay tuned. My name is Eric Torach. Good afternoon.
That was the news on 104.1 Favor FM. Stay tuned for more national and global news only on 104.1 Favor FM.